Good afternoon, everyone, and thank you so much for joining us on this session, Healthy Life, Healthy Career. So I'm hoping that you're enjoying the sessions so far. And as you have seen through the sessions, that we have covered a lot of technical and non-technical aspects revolving around our professional lives and professional careers, of how we are doing and how we can be better cybersecurity professionals and keeping our societies safe. However, I wanted to take this opportunity when we have all of you, our fantastic audience, to also focus on something that's close to my heart, and also important, but often neglected, and as cybersecurity professionals probably ignored as well, of how it is important to keep focus on ourselves as individuals and keep our mind and bodies healthy so that we can actually have a longer career and a more fruitful and more fulfilled career path across. Yeah, so we always focus on learning more, doing more, but we as individuals, we always are either last on our to-do list or never make it to the to-do list. So today I want to actually talk about that, how we need to focus on what we can do to focus on that. And with us here is Dr. Carolina, all the way from Atlanta. Thank you, Carolina, to be with us. And she's going to help us understand a bit more about this very important topic, because I believe that today, across all the various industries, the cybersecurity professionals are one of the most stressed out. And I'm sure that you would either have seen, or if you do a simple Google search, you can find tons of articles, already research work done about that. And if not, we are already living and breathing. So you don't even probably need to read an article to understand that fact. So thank you, Carolina, once again. So if I may just ask you to introduce yourself, and then we'll look at learning more from you. Thank you.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for the invitation to speak to at this conference. I'm Dr. Carolina Tillotson. I'm the owner of the Wellness Connection. It is a healing sanctuary that's located in Atlanta, Georgia. I also work with professionals across the globe to help them navigate stress easier in their life. So stress is a human condition, right? So if you check the box that, yes, I am a human, you will experience stress. Your profession is unique in that you have somewhat higher levels than stress to navigate than maybe the average person, and that you're on go a lot. And so I'm honored to be able to share a little bit more that can add value to your life and a little bit more wellness in your life as well.
Thank you so much, Dr. Carolina. So what I wanted to understand and learn from you, Carolina, as a starting point is, so you travel to a lot of different countries. You meet a lot of people on a daily basis as clients or in your network or friends and family, yeah? And some of them might be within our cybersecurity world as well. So what I wanted to understand, that it's one thing for us or me to think that, yes, I'm stressed or I'm feeling stressed. What is it that you are seeing within the larger part of the world? Is it just me, or is it a wider thing? So if you can just shed some light on that.
Absolutely. So, over the past 2 years, the world has experienced a totally different level of stress than it has before, and we've done it collectively. And so, yes, we had stressors before, and, as you know, there can be physical stressors. You can like break a bone, you can be in an accident, you can, stub your foot, your toe, you can have emotional stressors. Those are the things that pull at your heartstrings, mental stressors, the things that keep you up at night, and chemical stressors like the food that you eat, the air you breathe. But with what we've had the past year as a collective, we've experienced so many greater stressors. And we know that 90% of disease, the foundation of it is stress. So 90% of disease or dysfunction is caused by or made worse from stress. We also know that 80% of adults, if we were to look at them 5 years from now, are going to categorize themselves as being more sick than they are today. And so while we can't always control what is happening in the world, we can control our world, our environment. And so really the next, minutes that we share together is going to be talking about how we can control what's within our realm.
No, thank you so much. That's actually, I don't know if it's making me feel already slightly better that it's not just me, Yeah, but
You are
then
not alone.
so that's glad. So Carolyn, you mentioned that yes, we all have stress, and if we are human, then the chances are that we feel stress at some point in life. But I would want to understand what exactly is stress and what does it do to us? Why is
Yes,
it a problem?
absolutely. So I would love to really paint a picture for you briefly. So most people have driven a car, they've been in a car, you've been in a situation where you're running late, maybe, and you are in traffic. And if you can imagine being in that car and all of a sudden the person in front of you slams on the brakes and your car has to slam on brakes so that you don't run into the person in front of you, what happens to your body? And that's a really simple example. Most people, if you haven't experienced that, you've seen it in movies or something, right? But, your heart is going to start racing, your respiration is going to go up, meaning your breathing is going to be more, your pupils are going to change so that you can take in the information that you need to so you stay safe. Your hands are going to grip the steering wheel. You're going to sweat a little bit. Whatever nutritious food you ate that morning is going to stop digesting because your body's got to work on I have to live. I have to act in this moment and survive. And our bodies are beautifully designed to survive. We are wired to survive. The problem where stress comes in is that we, as that example in traffic, once traffic starts going and you make it to work or home, wherever you were going, that incident has already happened. It's in the past. What we're dealing with now are what are considered chronic stressors. So, we're wired, and it's called the primitive brain. If we work together more, I can go into greater depth with it, but essentially it's our primitive brain that allows us to survive. It's that brain that, if we would have gotten to a fight with a bear or a saber-toothed tiger, we would have been able to make it out alive. Well, today we don't have predators or things that run away or engage us in a fight. And so we end up in these chronic cycles where our body is still perceiving there's a threat, even though it might not still be there. So they can be financial, they can be relationship, and in this case, professional, right? Where we're constantly, our body is turned on, anticipating a threat, anticipating something. And so our chemistry, our physiology stays amped up. And it's okay if it's like that short term, but when it's like that long term, it lays the foundation for disease and dysfunction. And that is where, the heart of my message is that you don't have to live in a state of survival. And the more we talk, I'm going to cue you into how you can tap into your body to see if you're in survival mode.
Yeah, I think that does sound familiar in a lot of different situations, because, and especially I think people who or audience, or those people in the audience who would be from the security operations center specifically, or people who are looking after business continuity, they're probably always in a survival mode. That what do I need to keep afloat?
They're constantly thinking, fighting this figurative saber-toothed tiger who never runs away. And so that constant fight can keep the body amped up, and eventually there's going to be exhaustion, and you're going to have symptoms that show that your body has been in survival for too long.
Wow. That sounds familiar and dangerous at the same time. Well, okay, so I'm not going to stress about just thinking about stress. Okay, but what I want to focus at is how can I navigate stress in my real life?
Yeah, so, and I'm going to show you something, and I hope that it shows up in the screen. Can you see this?
Yes, I can, yes.
It's squishy. And my model is made of, it's like wood and rubber. And if you notice it can move, it's pliable. It's an example of our body, how our body is made. So our body, this is hard. So our body is made of hard things and soft things. Mm-hmm. And I'm trying to keep it in so you can still see it. Hard things like bones, soft things like muscles and ligaments, the squishy stuff. And it is, as we experience stress, whether that is physical, like sitting too long at your desk and not moving, or stubbing your toe on the way to the bathroom, or breaking a bone, or you have emotional stressors, mental stressors, or chemical. And remember, chemical is like food. As we experience those in life, it changes the relationship between hard and soft in our body. And we can start to experience symptoms because the body gives us symptoms to let us know that things are not okay, that it needs care. So as you can see, this model is kind of squished a little bit. And we live in a culture wherever you are in the world. The general idea is if you're in pain, get out of pain, put a Band-Aid on it, make it stop, cover it up. Yeah. And, you know, I am here to tell you that it is much more prudent, much more wise to not stick a Band-Aid on it, but to look at yourself as a whole human and start to see what is causing the most amount of stress. Now, as a chiropractor, what I do when I work with people is I help them release the tension that is actually being held in their body and in their nervous system. So they not only feel better, but function better. Not everyone has access to a chiropractor, and I understand that. If someone would like to get connected to one, you're welcome to reach out to me and I'll connect you, because it's a beautiful healing experience and is unlike anything else. So stress can be stored in the body. And so, you know, as we continue on, we are going to talk about ways that you can unwind and bring ease to your system so that your body doesn't have to continue to give you signals that it's not okay. And a couple symptoms that show that your body is in survival is you're not sleeping well. Maybe not you, Priyanka, but you know, someone is not sleeping well.
That's my only, I think, I don't know, sanctuary, my sleep. If I lose that, I'm gonna die.
So someone might not be sleeping well. They might not be falling asleep well or staying asleep or waking up feeling refreshed. They might have gut issues. Remember, if you're in fight or flight, your digestive system is not going to work well because it doesn't know if you're going to live or die. It's not going to do things that are associated with longevity. There are fatigue issues, so needing to have more coffee or stimulants during the day. And then also emotional, right? You might be more edgy around the people that you really do care about, but it's harder to connect with them. So those are just a couple examples. Or you might just feel really awful in your body. So you might feel aches and pains and not have a really good reason for them. And that's like the body talking to you to say, hey, you're in survival mode and we need help.
Okay, so I was, as you were talking, I was like, okay, what? I mean, there's a lot of stuff that I'm familiar, and there's a lot of stuff that I hear a lot of my colleagues talk about. That yeah, I'm suffering from this, I'm suffering from that, and that's probably their body trying to tell them, slow down, do something about it. Yeah.
Yeah. Can you imagine if your your back had words and could be like, hey, I'm hurting, or your stomach was like, hey, I'm not digesting well. Some people would have very noisy bodies, like they'd be chattering all the time. And luckily our bodies don't have those types of words, but symptoms are the language of the body. And once you recognize that it's just trying to communicate, then you can start the healing process much easier.
Okay, perfect. So I think what I learned from just the last few minutes is don't ignore the symptoms. Listen to your body. Yeah. Okay, perfect. So that's about listening to the body. Now, what I would want to also learn, that because we have got you here, wonderful. So what are some of the big and small things that we can do in our day-to-day lives, which can make however small or big difference it can, so that it makes a difference in our lives?
Absolutely. If you take away, or whoever's listening takes away nothing else, remember your body is powerful. It is designed to be healthy and whole. You're designed to be healthy. We live in a culture where people expect to be sick. You expect to get whatever your parents got or your grandparents got. You kind of wait for it to happen. And it doesn't have to be like that. You can truly create the health that you desire. And yes, things will happen in life. And yes, there are stressors you cannot control, but having that understanding will help you navigate it a little bit easier. And so the first tip that I would give someone, and I regularly give people whenever I'm teaching, speaking, or actually caring for my own clients, is to check in with how you're breathing. So that one of the first physiological changes that happen when you're under stress is your breathing changes. So if you imagine an example, if you were to get scared, like something startled you, what's the first thing you do?
Yeah.
It's the gasp. Your breath changes. And so when you choose to breathe intentionally, it's like, pressing the restart button on your computer. Mm-hmm. It's like restarting your system and allowing it to run more smoothly. It's like that manual overdrive, and that's as technical as I'll get, because I'm not,
probably I might not even understand without spending more time with it. But yeah, no, that sounds so familiar, because I have this situation, and I can specifically remember I think it was at a dinner party or something at one of our friends, and then we have a common family friend between me and my husband, and so my husband's friend, he said, me and Priyanka, we are very similar in the way that when we are tired, we can't breathe. Yeah. And this is a very old friend of ours. And I'm like, yeah, you're right. But now I understand why that happens, because every time I find it difficult to breathe, I just go to sleep. I'm like, well, that works. But I did not ever understand or think until now. Now I understand why.
And I'm going to teach you briefly how to restart your system. So there are tons of ways to breathe, and you're going to breathe anyway. You might as well do it well, right?
Yeah.
So, one thing to keep in mind is when we get stressed, we tend to bring our shoulders up.
Yeah.
And so you're going to think, when you breathe, don't go vertical, go horizontal. So imagine your belly and around your belly expanding. But I'm going to show you a rhythm to breathe that when you do it, your body has to focus on the rhythm so much more than what's going on around you. So a lot of my executive clients who I work with, the feedback I get is unanimous that they will do this when they are under high stress and nobody around them knows that they're doing it. And they just feel so calm. So I'm going to teach it to you guys also. And we'll go through it maybe twice. And then if you want to go into depth, you can always reach out to me and we'll do it. We'll go into greater depth. But you're going to sit so that your bottom is really supported. If you're on the way to a business meeting, just keep walking. You can do it while you walk, while you drive, while you shower. So you're going to take a deep breath in through your nose. Out through your nose, in through your nose, out through your mouth, in through your mouth, out through your mouth, in through your mouth, out through your nose. One more time. In through your nose, out through your nose, in through your nose, out through your mouth, in through your mouth, out through your mouth, in through your mouth, out through your nose.
Oh my God, it already makes me feel so much better.
So, and there are ways that you can hack your body even more so that you can get the most of that. But the foundational principle to that is that while your body and your brain are going through the rhythm, that you start to turn internal versus focusing on the external stressors. We also know that when we breathe well, that our body functions even greater. And again, we can go into more depth about that at another time. But just know when you breathe well, you're giving back to your body and you're also pressing the restart button in a really powerful way where you are telling your body, I am safe, because if you are safe, you can breathe well. If you are threatened, if you are stressed, you cannot breathe well.
Okay, so I'm going to notice and observe my breathing a little bit more from now on. So that's a lot of good learning in such a short time, Dr. Carolina. Thank you so much for that. Yeah, and I know I would want to spend the whole day talking to you about that and learning a lot more about how I can make my life better and hopefully make my career longer and my life longer with such useful and I think invisible tips and tricks, if I may use that. But yeah, I think I'm just conscious of the time. But thank you so much. I'm going to get in touch with you. But those in the audience, please do give it a try. The breathing exercise, that's something that I don't think we need to take out any specific time of the day. We can be sitting in a business meeting. We can be in our bedrooms, drawing rooms, dining rooms, wherever we are, we can always breathe without anyone noticing. So let's make best use of that from right on. But if you do want to learn more and want to understand a bit more of how with such small and valuable tips and tricks you can make your life better, do get in touch with Dr. Carolina, and I'm sure she would be more than happy to help and guide all of us here. And Carolina, I'm going to come find you, but you can get in touch with her over LinkedIn, and you can find her if you can't find her on LinkedIn, then definitely go just do a Google search on her and you can find her easily. She is that famous. So thank you so much again, Carolina, for that time.
And I will invite people, if you choose to do the breathing, to do it at least once a day for 21 days, because it's through being consistent with the small things that you will notice the change. If you want to work with me, there is a new program that's relaunching next year called Stress Less, Live More. And it's about foundational small principles that you can put into your life. It starts in January. So anyone who wants more info on that can certainly reach out. Or if you want more tips for the breathing, I'm happy to be a resource.
Perfect. And is there information available on that workshop on your website?
It will be coming up. And then if you're interested, if you send me a direct message, I can make sure you get that information.
Perfect. Thank you so much. So do expect and reach out from me.
Okay.
Perfect. Thank you so much for your time and have a great rest of the day then. Thank you so much. Thank you. Take care.